In his, it was packed floor to ceiling with stuff on either side of the door, but we could see through the door. There he was, towards the back of the unit with his back to us, reaching up onto a shelf. Could barely see him, just kind of make out his silhouette. The only lights down here were a single bulb hanging from the ceiling with pull strings. Shine our lights in his unit, pull out our weapons. We tell him to turn around slowly, keep his hands up. He doesn't move. Stands there. He reaches up on the shelf. He moved forward a bit. We keep telling him to turn around, show us his hands, blah, blah, blah. He doesn't move an inch. Building manager has a rapport with him, apparently, so we get him, and he tries pleading with him to turn around. Lucas just kept standing there with his arms up and his back to us. Manager unlocks the door. We get him out of there. Now, this was a year or two before tasers really started catching on, so we didn't have that option. We inch our way towards the guy. And as we get closer, it becomes clear that when I say he isn't moving, he isn't moving. He's standing as still as a statue. Pretty soon we realize he's not breathing. And then we keep our weapons up, we keep our lights on him. And we keep yelling, all that stuff. Did it by the book. When we got up to him, confirmed that he wasn't breathing, we called in the troops. When it was time to move the body, they had to tip him. It was rigor mortis that set in while he was reaching up to the shelf. It's on his face, though. It's the most anguished, terrified look I'd ever seen. Picture yourself screaming at the top of your lungs. Think about what your face looks like when you do that. That was his face. We asked the people who lived above his storage unit if they'd heard anything, and of course they hadn't. When Manth saw the guy, he did something to him. I mean, I saw Lucas's face. It scared the Christ out of me. No two ways about it. Gave me that same feeling as when we watched the security tapes. But Manth, the guy never said another word, ever. He never spoke to me, his wife, his kids. Never said another word, for as far as I know. Last I heard, he was living in an old folks' home. Poor son of a bitch, just looks out the window all day. That was some years ago, though. I hope for his sake he's dead. As terrible as that sounds. And they did an autopsy, and well, it was something with his heart. I mean, it was blood pressure, something. What it came down to was that he was literally scared to death. I didn't think it was real. They assured us that it was the only explanation. That was it. He died. I never found anything else on his connection to the girl. Why he had an alias, why he had a second apartment, nothing. We did find what the tip of his finger was touching when he was reaching up on the shelf, though. It was a ball of dental floss. Maybe the size of, I don't know, racket ball, one of those bouncy blue ones. Well, I got a call a day or two later. And it told us inside that ball of dental floss was 7 human teeth. As far as I know, none of them ever been identified. Hey there kids, it's me, Mr. Creepypasta, and thank you for watching today's video. And if you're on the podcast, then thank you for watching today's podcast. And if you're on not the video or the podcast, then thank you for tuning into this telepathic broadcast. Oh, and there's something I need to mention to all of you. It's actually the big Halloween surprise. I mentioned this early on in the summer, but I never really got a chance to say what it was, because it wasn't really nailed down at the time. We, and by we, I mean me, Creeps McPasta, and Mew, are going on tour across the United States in October. All the dates for it have been nailed down as of actually today, and tickets should be going on sale as of actually today. If you'd like to find out more, I'm going to have a bunch of information in the description down below all the way up until the tour is finished. But if you want to get a hold of your tickets, all the venues we've chosen have very limited seating, so make sure you get your tickets now if we're heading to a town near you. And one of the most exciting things about this is that I've been able to work with Mew across the United States doing conventions over the past couple of years. But this is the first time I think that Crepes McPasta is coming